Hi, welcome to using Google SketchUp 8 today for making a nice simple house. This is the startup window when you first click on SketchUp 8, and up the top here on the right hand side you'll see it says choose template. Now I'm going to click this because this enables you to choose the measurement that you're actually working in. So you've got feet and inches and meters, and today I'm just going to select meters. And down the bottom right hand corner, start using SketchUp. Now when you draw things in SketchUp, you'll now see all the dimensions are in meters, and I'll show you this in a second. Here we've got a person. Now this person is to give us an idea of scale. We then have three lines which are the equivalent of an X, Y and Z axis. So your X axis is red, your Y is blue and your Z is green, and this shows you your 3D space. Now I'm going to draw a rectangle for the base of my house, and the rectangle icon is just under where it says view for the view menu, and I hold down my left mouse button and I'm drawing a rectangle, and as I draw it you'll notice in the bottom right hand corner the dimensions are changing in meters. Now be careful, because if you're going up you get a wall, and if you're going down you get a floor, and we want a floor, so I'm just going to let go. And you'll notice now when I put my cursor over the rectangle I've drawn, it says on face. Now SketchUp calls these faces, and I'm going to now make this face into a 3D house. Now this is really clever. This is called the push-pull tool, and you'll find it underneath the help menu. So if I click on push-pull, when I put my cursor over the face now, it goes all dotty to show it's selected, and I can push up or push down. It will go in either direction in 3D space, and as I do it's also showing me in meters how high this wall is that I'm creating. So I'm going to go right up here to 5 meters. Now you'll notice it's pretty difficult to see your house now because it's really big, and this is where you need to be able to navigate around Google SketchUp, and there's 3 main ways of doing this. There is zoom, pan and orbit. Now zoom is probably easiest done on your mouse if you've got a middle scroll button. I'm just scrolling in and out on my middle scroll button here on my mouse, and you can see I'm beautifully zooming in and out, so I can now see all of my house. I've then got what I call pan the hand, and if I click pan the hand I can move side to side on my house. And finally I've got the orbit tool. Now if I click on orbit I can move around my whole house in 3D. A quicker way of orbiting, however, is that middle scroll button that we zoomed in and out with. That also is a button, and if you hold it down you instantly go into orbit mode. You just hold down that middle button that is also your mouse scroller, and that's really clever, and that's a quick way to orbit. So I've drawn my house. If I'm not happy with the shape of it, that's easy. I can just push-pull one of the sides out. Now you'll see here my push-pull is greyed out. Now if I go on the cursor arrow, the select arrow, it then always puts all the icons back so that they can be used again. So I can click push-pull now, and if I wanted to I could pull in, there's my little person up here, or I can orbit round and I can push in that way, and you can pull and push any face that you wish. So don't worry if you don't draw it right to start with, you can always move it around using push-pull. Now I'm going to draw a house, so I need a door and I need some windows. So to do this, first of all with the door I use the rectangle tool. I go on an edge line and I draw out my door and I let go. I now use the push-pull tool and I push in the inside of the door. So that is like a wall's thickness there. Using the black select arrow, I can now select this bit of wall that I've pushed backwards. So it's, again, whenever you've selected anything, it's all dotty. And I use my delete key on my keyboard, and look, I can see inside my house. So there we are, we're inside, which is fantastic. So, and there's my little person. Yeah, she's tucked away in the corner. I'm now going to draw some windows using the rectangle tool as well. Now if you want to, you can line them up with the top of your door. So if I come over to the door, I'm not clicking on the left or right at all. I'm just hovering over that end point there at the top of the door. Can you see as I move my mouse to the right, it gives me a little dotty line to say I'm lined up with that point. Now if I hold down my left mouse button now, I know that I'm drawing a window that's top edge is perfectly in line with that door. And again, I can do the same thing on the other side. Now there are lots of ways in SketchUp of getting everything lined up, but today we're just going to keep things simple. I'm just drawing this nice little house. So I've got some windows and I've got a door. Now leave the windows just as rectangles for the time being. I'm going to show you how to colour them in a second. We're now going to do a roof, and I'm going to draw a pitched roof. Now there are several ways of doing this, so I'm just going to show you one of them, the one I think is most simple. Use the line tool, which you find under the edit menu. It's pencil. Now when you hover over a line or an edge, you can find the middle of it. It will tell you when you're at the midpoint and you get this blue circle. Now hold down my left mouse button now and draw out a line. Now make sure you're above the top of your window and your doors, otherwise you'll have a problem with your roof. So there you go, I'm above. I let go. I now come to my midpoint again and I draw down. Now can you see I've got a little red dotty line? It's telling me that I'm absolutely perfectly lined up with the other line that I've just drawn. If you don't get that, draw your line and take it over on top of the line you've just drawn and then take it back, and then you'll find it will definitely line up if that's not working for you. I've now got two triangles which are my roof that I want to get rid of. So I use my push-pull tool and I push in all the way to the end and let go, and it will disappear. And now I've got a beautiful pitched roof. There you go, and my little person in there and my windows. So we're now going to put some colour on this. So to colour it, I use the bucket. The bucket makes the materials menu appear. Now in this you've got lots and lots of options. This is called rendering. It is limited in Google SketchUp as to all the different renders that you can use, but there's some quite nice ones. And I'm going to start off on by making those windows actually look like windows. So I'm going to go on translucent, and this gives you various different glass effects. So I'm going to pick a glass and I left click, and all of a sudden those rectangles that I drew earlier are now nice glass windows, and I can even see my little person inside. Bricks and cladding obviously gives you some outside material, so I'm going to orbit by holding down that middle mouse button round my house so that I can colour in all of my walls. And then finally I'm just going to do a roof, so I'll go on roofing and I pick myself a roof, and that is my house and it's all coloured. So I hope you enjoyed that. Thanks very much. Thanks for listening.